Choco Millionaire. Thank you so much for making it here. If you do like my videos, I'll be happy if you can hit the subscribe button and also like this video as well. Drop your comments and let me know what you think about this video. So international students have different courses that they go for. And some of them are in health, some of them are in IT, computing, some of them are in trades, some of them are even in general arts or even business courses, right? I am going to share my personal opinion. I'm not going to give you any data to back this. I'm just going to tell you my personal opinion, and I'll probably also sample some trends here and there too, though. But it's not going to be like an official information coming from like a government agency telling you that this program is like the #1. All right. So, in my opinion, I think this very course is the most sought after program by international students in Canada. And what course is that? Personal support worker. If you're watching this video, make sure you are sharing it as well on your platforms to educate people about this. Because I believe with the right information, we can make a lot more smarter decisions. So make sure you hit the share button, the like button, the subscribe button there so that others can know that this is what it is. All right. Now, PSW, personal support worker, could also be called personal care worker, acute care worker. There are different names for it, but most of the time, if you watch the description of the course and the prospect for it, you are eventually finishing and getting your certificate to practice as a personal support worker. Now, a personal support worker is almost like a nurse or a junior nurse. If I can use a practical example for it, it's like a junior nurse. It's like a lower rank, or maybe the rank that comes just before like a nurse. You know, for you to be a nurse, you need to go to school. You need to go get maybe a diploma to be an LPN or RN or something like that, a degree, right? But for you to get to be a personal support worker, you just need to take like a 1-year certificate program and a diploma in a college, and then you're done. Some universities do offer that, but they are more popular in colleges. Now, I've lived in Canada for a while, and I've noticed the shift of interest of international students to this course. Now, there's so many colleges I know, and in the past, I've seen this course being like, like the #1, and it still is. There's one way you can know, right? Whichever college you go to right now, promise you this, majority of the colleges out there right now in Canada, especially the public colleges, if you go to their website right now and you're looking for this course, you most likely would have seen something like this: high in demand, meaning so many people are after it. Or you see something like this: wait listed, meaning way too many people have applied. So they're just letting you know that your chances of getting this is not just, it's kind of like you are not assured. You know what I mean? But why is that the case though? A couple of reasons could explain why this course is becoming like pretty popular. Number one, Canada's population is an aging population, meaning we have a lot more people in the, upper age percentile there, which means that the need for people who can care for them is so high. Okay, let me just take it back again and break it down a little bit more. Canada's population is aging. We have an aging population. A lot more people are older, retirement and stuff like that. Now, there is also a cultural thing here that when people get into their retirements and stuff like that, majority move into what we call retirement homes or long-term homes and stuff like that, or care homes. Basically, it becomes like their second home or their new home where they actually spend most of their time. Families will come and visit them, friends will come and visit them. They have the accommodation in these facilities. They have nurses taking care of them. They have personal support workers taking care of them. They have professionals taking care of them. Their meals are taken care of. Their food servers who serve them in the morning, afternoon, evening. So it's like their new home. And one category of occupations or workers who actually are critical to the survival of care homes, long-term homes, or retirement homes are personal support workers. Now, personal support workers could be in different forms too. There are those who are working at a particular facility, so they go in there and do their shift and then they get back home. Then there are also those who actually get assigned to individual clients, and you get to actually visit your client in the comfort of their home and then attend to them there. So what it means is that, for example, if I was in my 60s, for example, and I want to still get some care, I could choose to move into a long-term or a retirement home and just go live there and probably pay some amount, and then everything I need, I'm taking care of. I have a nurse, I have a PSW, I have all the professionals to take care of me if I need anything. You know what I mean? I have my room there, blah, blah, blah. Alternatively, I could also choose to stay home, like my house, and then I have a personal support worker or a nurse or whoever it is who is assigned to me, and then they come home. If you go to the UK, you find this trend also there. Like this thing is also in the UK and a couple of other countries in the Western world. So if Yetunde, for example, is my PSW or my personal support worker, Yetunde could be coming in to make sure that my basic things are done. If I need my medication or if I need help with some few things there, you know, basic things, she'll come in for maybe 1 hour, help me to get all those things done, and then she leaves me and gone, right? And then she's gone. All right. So that is the background there. You could either be in a facility or you could be working for individual clients through your agency or the company that hired you, and then you're working for them. If there is any time at all in the history of Canada since I moved here that made me realize that these guys who do personal support worker jobs are like critical, it was during COVID. Guys, during COVID, health workers were the number one in the whole country, Canada. These people are the frontliners, the frontline workers. They were mostly the guys on the ground who were actually helping with critical issues here and there. You know what I mean? Of course, doctors are there, nurses are there, but these guys were so critical. And if you remember the COVID story actually hit most of the retirement homes. It hit them. We had a lot of casualties from the retirement home because a lot of people in the retirement homes, some people may have underlying health conditions, which makes that they become more susceptible to actually getting hit hard by COVID, right? So personal support workers were in the news. What happened? They were getting unlimited hours, crazy shift. Charlie, I know some guys from Ghana who were international students and were doing PSW jobs at that time. And these guys were originally nurses from back home, but when they came here, they were actually working at PSWs. And they were getting ridiculous hours. Like, when I say ridiculous, like super ridiculous hours. These guys were working like 100 hours in a week. Think about that. 100 hours in a week. You literally have no life sleeping. You know what I mean? 100 hours in a week, 2 weeks. These guys were killing it. 140, 150, 170 hours in 2 weeks. They were getting crazy incentives just to work. PSWs, personal support worker. Second reason why this course also became very popular during the COVID time was that the federal government, if you Google it, you notice that the federal government during the COVID time introduced some kind of programs that kind of rewarded frontline health workers, and PSWs were one of them. In Quebec, for example, they have something going on. If you were an asylum seeker and you were a frontline health worker, Charlie, they have some sweet permanent residence programs that were rolling around at that time. If you guys remember it. Oh, let's also look at the other one. Do you also remember the famous program, TR to PR? TR to PR. Simply, TR to PR stands for temporary resident to permanent resident. Do you remember that program? During COVID, when they introduced it? Wow. Most of the people who benefited from that new immigration program that was introduced, basically helping those who were not yet permanent residents, but held temporary resident visas or documents, right? They had the opportunity to transition to becoming permanent residents. Majority of the guys who benefited were all frontline health workers or PSWs. In short, all I'm trying to say is that if there is an apocalyptic COVID again, you can rest assured that health workers will probably be one of those who will be benefiting from majority of the immigration programs that will come. Why? Because these are the guys, when there is crisis, will step forward and be helping. So therefore, most governments, especially pro-immigration governments, will roll out programs just to benefit them. Just go and Google it and you see. Now, as we speak right now, the demand for personal support workers is an all-time high. And there are a couple of reasons why. There is a massive shortage of care workers or health workers across Canada. This is a fact. You can Google it. I repeat, there is a massive shortage of health workers across the entire country of Canada. From doctors, to nursing aides, to nurses, to name them, all the way to PSW. Massive shortage. Not just in one province, the entire country of Canada. Most provinces are on a serious recruitment drive looking for nurses. Some of them are recruiting nurses from the Philippines. Some of them are enticing nurses. In fact, some of you watching me right now have provincial nursing licenses or whatever from provinces like Nova Scotia, British Columbia, what have you. True or false? Do you know why though? As we speak right now, province like Saskatchewan, workers there, health workers there went on strike, just begging the government to hire more people. I'm only telling you this because I want you to know this urgency to the issue of health workers here in Canada, especially this one I'm talking about, personal support worker. So aging population, they were mostly the frontline workers in COVID. They were mostly the first guys to actually benefit from programs like the TR to PR and what have you. If they were dishing out or just doling out PR, they're most likely going to be some of the guys who are going to benefit from it. The fact that courses like this in schools are all on wait listing, true or false? Here's the last one, or maybe the last but one. Most schools do not have a tough requirement for becoming a personal support worker or actually getting admission. You see, unlike other courses, where you need to have a background in biology, a background in chemistry, a background in physics, a background in this and that and that and that. Most schools are a little bit lenient when it comes to the admission requirement. Would you be able to get admitted into a college to do palliative care if you don't have a background as a nurse? Most likely no. You need to be a nurse to at least get into a course like palliative care. Would you also be able to apply to a program like gerontology if you are not a nurse? Most likely no. So you see, this is where nurses versus non-nurses could have that separation. Whilst somebody who is an internationally trained nurse coming to school can easily apply to palliative care and will get the advantage over me. Somebody who has a background as a nurse, LPN or RN, can easily apply for a course like gerontology in a college and get it ahead of me. When it comes to PSW, personal support worker, it's one area that a general guy like me to go enter there. Because a lot of schools will give you the admission. So the fact that it is one of the easiest to get admitted into, even if you don't have the background in health. For most schools, I say for most schools, some schools may say you need a biology background, you need this, but majority of the schools don't, they will give you the admission. Even if your background was maybe general arts, even your background. I've seen people with backgrounds that are different, completely different, they got admission into them. And it's a one-year program, which is technically 8 months, by the way. You see that? And the tuition is sometimes pretty competitive, probably not the most expensive, but not the cheapest too. In Ontario, for example, maybe 15, 16, 17,000, depending on the college you choose. And it's just a 18 months program, you're done. You get a certificate. You see that? Easy admission in terms of requirements, all right? Now, here's the next one. Do you also know that just some few months ago, about a year ago or so, most provinces or governments had a program in place just sponsoring people or offering free PSW for people to go into? Did you hear that? If you're a permanent resident or if you're a citizen or whatever it is, people were actually being encouraged by the government to go and take the course in personal for free. And not only that, guys, they were even giving incentives to people, just money. Some people were getting monies back. In fact, somebody said, look, they gave me some money back because I went to do this course. Just imagine. They wanted to do it for free. And then they're giving you some money back. Do you know why though? Government know they do things for free like that too. They desperately needed people. As we speak right now, some places you may still find these free PSW programs running, especially depending on where you live in Canada. You could find some of them still. An Indian living in Brampton said she came as a nurse and she was able to take this free course. She didn't have to pay. Do you see that? And this is the last one. Because there is a serious scarcity or shortage of health workers, including PSWs, there are so many remote parts of the country, Canada, remote meaning rural areas, places where they don't have a lot of people living there, places where the population is very, very, very sparse, scattered all over, very small, it could be 10,000 people, 5,000 people, 6,000 people, 7,000 people living in a small town. But then they have a lot of old people there, or aged people, or people in retirement homes and stuff like that, and they don't have the workers. So do you know what is happening right now as I speak? Listen. Most of the long-term care homes or retirement homes or agencies or recruiters or companies in remote areas in Canada are putting in place incentive to attract more personal support workers. What kind of incentive? They are offering them a job, full-time job offer. Sometimes they offer you part-time opportunities, but most of the time it's full-time. Number two, they are also offering you better salary than you get in big cities. The average person will make about $19, $18, $21 as a personal support worker. If you are in a big city like maybe the Toronto or in Niagara where I live. But guess what? If you go to those villages or what we call rural areas, these guys are paying between $24 to $30 an hour, depending on whether you even work straight with a company or through an agency. So the salaries are actually better there. Of course, life there is damn boring, man. Life there is extremely boring because it's a village, it's small towns. But in terms of salary, these places there offer way better salary than the big cities. And here is the sweetest part of all. The sweetest part is that some of them are not only offering you a better salary and a job full-time, but they are offering you the opportunity to get an LMIA for 2 years work permit. I repeat, LMIA, which comes with a 2 years work permit if you go through the immigration thing. If you go through the immigration and they approve it for you, then you get in a 2 years. Oh, wait a minute. So PSW certificate, I get a job in certain areas if I'm very strategic. I could land a 2-year contract with the employer or the whatever it is. And if I go through immigration, they are satisfied. In other words, apply for my work permit and then everything is in good standing. I could get a potential 2 years work permit, which is a closed work permit because it's LMI, you work. All right, now, I like to give practical examples, right? So let me give you this practical one. Now listen to this. Yetunde came to do a 1-year course here. Internationally trained nurse from Nigeria. 1-year course. Ideally, the 1-year work permit is the weakest work permit to take if you're an international student. Yetunde would have done another 1 year. That way, she ends up getting a total of 3 years in postgraduate work permit, isn't it? She actually got admission. She was about to start a second program, which is palliative care. But then something happened. Somewhere in a rural part of Canada, somewhere in some village, they came calling. Is it Auntie Yeti? Yeti, baby, we need you. We need more people here. We need you to come quick. Yeti, come. We'll give you a job offer. We'll give you a 2-year LMIA contract. Yeti say, hey, Chaka, should I take it? Should I not take it? Should I go to school? I say, look at it. Compare and contrast. When you finish, you choose which one you want. Either go to school and pay another 17,000, 18,000 for a second-year program, or, this one that is in front of you can decide. Say, but what if I use the 1-year postgraduate work permit? And then it's finishing. What do I do? I said, but these guys, what are they telling you? Okay, they say they are going to offer you XYZ, huh? Okay, 2 years work permit. Do you like it? No. Say, hey, Charlie, that one makes sense. So it makes sense. I say, you think about the place is boring. He say, I don't care. I don't care. Today is so funny. She said, I don't care. She said, I don't care. I said, you think the place is boring, no? How many people there? 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. Man, when you look here, you see, everybody. He said, I don't care. Now, papers why they look. I said, okay. As we speak, Yetunde has moved to a rural part of Canada. She's no longer in Niagara. Why? Smart move. But wait a minute. Did she study PSW here in Canada? No, she did a totally different course. But smart woman, you know what she did? Because she's an internationally trained nurse, she had the opportunity to work while she was in school as a personal support worker. So I'm going to say this part again. I will change my face for you to know I'm making a serious point. If you are an internationally trained nurse and you come here as a student and you're on a student visa which allows you to work, most of the time you have the privilege of working as a PSW without needing to even have a certificate. The reason being that they kind of recognize that the PSS and international trainers is even higher than the PSW. So therefore, you already know how to do these things already. They just take you on. All you need to do is do your police check and your TB test and blah, 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 and you're good. But if Yetunde was not an internationally trained nurse from Africa, she would have needed a PSW certificate to go and work as a PSW. And some of you watching right now may not have backgrounds as nurses. And so therefore you need a certificate. Some of you may have already applied for PSW. Some of you maybe not. Do you see that? If you're a nurse, I don't personally think it's worth it. You need to go and do a P, unless you cannot find any other course and then you go for it. By the way, let me also mention that even nurses who come here as international students will still go for courses like gerontology, courses like palliative care, courses like PSW. Why? Why do they go for it? Because they cannot come and do another nursing again. They're already nurses. So for them, it's just about coming to school. But if you don't even get these courses and you get another one, remember, by just being the fact that you are a nurse, it makes it extremely easy for you to already start working whilst you are in school as a PSW, which allows you to acquire the practical, work experience. But if you don't have the background as a nurse, then you're going to need to actually have the background. In fact, not only nurses, some professions could also be there. I just don't want to mention all those professions there, but the general one here are nurses. They are the ones who are in a better position to take advantage of this. And I know some of you are going to ask questions. You know me, when I take my time to explain and I take all the insult from people that my videos are long, I don't respond to it again. I repeat, watch me carefully. When I take all my time and I do all the explanation like this, and I take all the insult from people that your videos are too long, your videos are this. When you come and ask a silly question I've already covered, I don't answer it again. You watch the video. Let me also make this point. The fact that I'm talking about this course does not mean everybody coming to Canada should go and do PSW. I know my video carries a lot of weight, especially when I make videos like this, people just take them hook, line, and sinker and they run with it. This is not a call for all of you coming to Canada to go and do PSW. I repeat, this is not an enticement for all of you coming here to go and do PSW. Some of you are in great professions. There are great courses out there that has amazing pathways. I'm only just talking about this for now. It doesn't mean when you come here and you have a course like maybe computer engineering, or you have a course like, architectural diploma, you should go and drop it and all of a sudden. And when somebody asks you, say, well, Choco says so I'm also going to do it. No, man, if you know what you want, stick with it. But for those of you who are a little bit confused, you are not sure, and you're looking for somebody to give you some other, perspective out there about things and how they are, this could be a great option. But wait a minute, Choco. I've already gotten my admission. And it is nothing like what you're talking about, not even this course. It's a completely different course. Maybe it's a course called S. And to be honest, I don't really like that course. My visa has been issued already and I've even come into the country, blah, blah, blah. Is there any possibility I can change to this course? Maybe yes, maybe not. Maybe yes if your school allows you to change. Maybe yes if your school has the PSW course available and it's there, you can change. In fact, you've watched some of my old videos where I took some students to some campuses where they needed to make a change of their course. In fact, Yetune herself, when she came here, I worked with her closely trying to get her to change her course. We tried to get a palliative. We tried to get this. Palliative was gone. We tried to get into other one. Eventually, we're able to what? Change to something. So it is not the end of the road. You can come into the country, go to your campus or your school, your international students office, and go have a conversation with them. Look, I know I applied for this and I got admission for this, but I'm really interested in this other course. I checked online and I can see it's available. Is it possible you guys can help me to change the course? Some schools will allow you to do that before. So long as the registration process is still active and it's not over, some schools will allow you to make a change. Some schools will tell you, you know what, that program you're interested in is already gone. It's not available, so we can't help you with that. And then they may offer you maybe other options. If you're a nurse, maybe palliative. If you're a nurse, maybe gerontology. If you're a nurse, maybe something else. In fact, some people may even decide, I know what, maybe change the school completely to a different school. But I think it is a little bit more riskier trying to change it when your visa application is still underway and stuff like that. Because you know how the rules are. Sometimes when you make all these changes, you need to notify the RCC right away, and it could change your. What if you had applied for a business course and you wrote your study plan or letter of explanation for a business course, and all of a sudden you change to, and your visa is still pending review, And what if the RCC or what if the immigration officer checks with the school, and then all this change, it could create a mess. So for me, if I was probably a student applying for a visa, I would probably wait until I enter the country, and then I make the change with the school if possible. You know what I mean? Or even if I want to change to a different school, I probably will come into the country and then make the change. That's what I would do if I was in your shoe. And then I'll notify the RCC when I make the change. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I would do personally. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Remember what I mean? Remember, saying me, I'm not an immigration officer. I'm not an expert. I just share my personal opinion, right? You see it there. So this course here is a hot cake. It's a hot cake. In fact, there is a Ghanaian lady as well who did a 1-year PSW, and my understanding is that she also got a 2-year LMI on top of her whatever postgraduate work permit. This is a critical lifeline, because for those of you who know this, a 1-year postgraduate work permit, especially in some provinces like Ontario, is extremely risky if you're a college student. Extremely risky. That is why you find a lot of people go into second-year programs and stuff like that, just trying to get what? 3-year PGWP, postgraduate work permits, to allow them to stay in the country a bit longer when they complete school, so that they can get their permanent residency. Now, it doesn't also mean that if you are in your program right now, which is not a health program, you cannot activate some options on the side. Is it possible that I can also do a private course or take a PSW course on the side if I still want to go into that area? You can do that. You should be able to. There are people who are doing completely different courses in school, and then they will still register with some schools there and get some private PSW stuff done. You know what I mean? Just make sure you are actually registering. Don't let somebody go and tell you they are going to give you PSW certificate, fake certificate. If you go to use fake, don't be me, I tell you. I tell you for years, don't go and be trusting your friends who tell you, I will give you fake PSW certificate. No, that will be all that they teach you for here. Go and do a proper private course in PSW and get it on the side. Finally, if you're going to use this option, especially if you are not doing PSW as a full-time course that gave you the visa, it is also recommended that you acquire some hours of experience on the job as a PSW. We are living in extremely good times if you're an international student. You saw the recent announcement that says that you can actually work on limited hours all the way to what? April 30, 2024. Great news, isn't it? You want to make sure that you are not using your class scheduled time for class to be working. In other words, you have a class at 7 a.m. on Monday today as you speak, but that 7 a.m. you are not in class. You are doing Uber. That one, there is a big risk. You want to make sure you get sense on top of using your work permit. Some of you will be abandoning classes and you'll be going to do Uber. You'll be abandoning classes. You are going to chop girls or chop women. Your judgment day will come. Immigration will get you at the right time. Use sense. See what I mean? If you decide to do this, which I know a lot of people are doing, and those international students who are not in PSW, they don't have a background in health, and they are doing different courses in school, but on the side, they've also done PSW certificates from private colleges out there, blah, blah, blah. Of course, they know they cannot use that per se to get a PGWP. It's just a private course, short course, isn't it? But the advantage there is that they have that certificate that goes on their CV. The advantage there is that once they complete it, if they are still in school, they will be able to use that to get jobs as PSW in it. And do you know how important it is to get those experience on your CV? When you finish and you begin applying to all these retirement homes in rural areas and blah, 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 you know one of the things they look for is your work experience. So if you are not a nurse, for which reason they can easily work with you, and you claim you have a PSW certificate, does this person have the experience as well? You really want to grasp some experience as well on top of that. They don't want to spend so much time now coming to train you. There are so many people who get PSW certificate, they know nothing about how to do the job. Yeah? Your employer now has to go and train you on everything. You have to make the job easier for yourself to be accepted by telling yourself that, look, since I'm still in school, let me cut my Uber hours, let me cut my KFC hours, let me cut my factory hours that I work, and go and find a job as a PSW because I just got a certificate on the side. So use that to get some experience, put that experience on your CV, so that any time, in fact, it was one of the things that actually helped Yetunde. Remember, Yetunde did not study PSW. But while she was in school, she was working as a what? A PSW. So on her CV, rich CV. She's worked with this home. She's worked with this retirement home. She's worked here. She knows the thing. When she went for the interview, she was so confident. They could tell right away this woman knows her job. It'll be where they could start to ask you, what experience, what is your worst experience you had with a client? And then which client? Your last client was in the factory. You were actually fighting somebody over microwave. That was your last experience on the job. You were fighting somebody over microwave at the factory. You don't have no experience as a PSW. So that employer is going to look at you and say, okay, am I not going to pick this person and begin to train them from beginning to the end? They prefer somebody, most likely, they prefer somebody who already knows. And see, somebody's asking a very useless question. What is PSW? It ain't my nose. Come and take her. It be now where you can't watch her. When you can't watch them, you see 31 minutes. You don't know, say you for stop then come and say. It be so way some of you go, you see why I know they respond to people. Because some questions that I can majority of them stupid questions, extremely stupid. They won't watch the video to the end. Yeah, they will ask everything. What is this? What is red light? What is red light? They can't even Google it. Everything. You spend your time and explain like you are in a classroom with a baby. Yeah, people ask silly questions over and over again. And when he talk, say this content creator is something else. He thinks I'm here to clean somebody's bum. You came to class 31 minutes into the class. You are asking silly questions. Instead of you to wait and see whether wisdom can favor you as things goes on and you progress. You go ask them. PSW as a course also tends to fall in a favorable NOC code. NOC, N-O-C. You can easily Google that. I'm not going to use this opportunity to talk about NOC code. A NOC code basically is the classification of your job. In Canada, every job falls in a certain classification. PSW tends to have a favorable NOC code. And the importance of having a favorable NOC code is that when it comes to getting permanent residence applications done, certain NOC codes are favored over others. There are times when they will focus on selecting health workers. If your NOC code is there, most likely you get a chance. If your NOC code is not there, most likely you won't get a chance. So the person who is working in a factory as a general laborer, their NOC code is weaker than a person who is a PSW because they require proper training to actually do that job compared to a factory worker who is a general laborer. No training is required, or a food server. A food server, you just carry food and serve, No special training, no special education is required to be a food server. Call center person, hello, who is this? You don't require any technical serious training and education to be a call center representative. So the NOC code for the jobs you do after completing school is so critical. Not just any job can make your permanent residence journey easy. Some NOC codes or some jobs can make your life easy when it comes to what? In fact, in the United States, for example, people who finish school in the US, there are some of them who will get the option to actually get the practical work experience and a certain type of document. I forgot the name, to work in the US. But not everyone. If you didn't do a STEM program, if you didn't do a program in science, technology, engineering, blah, blah, blah. Say you go to the US where you go to look for women, they marry. You see what I mean? Where if you be woman to where they look for man, so now they go to chop you. They go fire you. You see what I mean? And they chase paper for that. So when you come here, you have to be really sharp in terms of your choice of programs. Especially if you are in colleges. Colleges. You see what I mean? Me, I can't hear. It be master's program where I can do. But I was also working in a factory. Very, very useless factory. You see what I mean? But because I came through the master's route and I lived in a province like Ontario, which had a whole permanent residence program for master's graduates in Ontario, I was favored. But But what if I had done some useless course in a college, or you know what I mean? If it's the way I just go to walk around, I eventually go see me, I'll go find some Igbo woman say they can marry and make a take it. You know what I mean? That thing no easy. You see what I mean? Somebody's asking, what about a midwife? Midwife, you fall in the same category of nurses as well. You know, you guys will fall in the same category. So a midwife can easily get to work and stuff like that. And, you know, basically you fall almost in the same category as nurses. You guys enjoy a lot more in terms of like your flexibility around jobs. You guys are way better compared to like people who have no backgrounds as health workers, nurses, midwives, doctors and stuff like that, or people who just have zero background at all about health. We are the ones who need to be really like clever with our choice of courses. Should I go into trades? Should I go into IT? Should I go into health work? Even if I go into health courses, which ones will give me a better edge? I hope you enjoyed this video. If you watch it to the end, remember the way I speak is all based on passion. I'm an African. If you're angry at the way I speak, go and hold your nose because I don't care. You see what I mean? This be my vibe. This be how they do. I know be anger. It be passion, raw passion. Made in Ghana. I'll see you guys on the other side. For now, have a good day. Hit the like button, subscribe. Share this video as well, let others get it, and then we'll meet on the other side. If you have questions, you can ask them in the comment section. Remember, if your question has been covered in detail in this video, I have a simple rule of thumb. I do not respond to them. I don't want to waste your time, and thank you for not wasting my own time as well. God bless you. See you on the other side. Bye.